My name is Professor Tella. I work with Babcock, Department of Economics, Babcock University now. So I've just retired from Olabisi Onabanjo University in Agowoye. So I moved to Babcock as a Professor of Economics there. So that's where I am presently. Well, I will say that I feel bad about it because this is not where we should be, really. And in the last 10 years, things have been going from bad to worse. And that is why, in fact, under democracy, we have moved up and down, although the economy too, as global economy has also been the same way. But we are worse off because of the inappropriate policies of government. And that is why I said that one is not happy about it. The policy of government has been inconsistent with what it should be. And it's because we borrow policies instead of looking inward for our own policy and doing things the way we should do it ordinarily. So we have a lot of problems with the economic policy. And there's need for the people in position to look inward and see how they can fine-tune the policies they have been implementing over time. Well, what some of those things that characterize the economy, the basic thing is that the educational situation, level of illiteracy continue to increase. Before, they say we have about 50 million out of school children. And this is a country that is full of youths. Now it has even moved from that. We are now thinking of 20 million, whereas it's supposed to be going down. The number is increasing, which is a problem for the future of Nigeria. Secondly, it's a country that is highly indebted, to the rest of the world or to a large number of countries in the world. We have a high level of inflation getting to 30%. It's as if we are just coming out of war, and that is not the situation, because after war, there will always be this kind of inflation that you see when demand will outstrip supply. But we have not been in any war, so why should the inflation be getting to that level? It simply means that production is not rising. Unfortunately, the policy of government towards inflation has not been working because of wrong assumptions. The monetary policy, people think that there's too much money in the economy, and the only way that they can reduce inflation is by mopping up liquidity, by raising interest rates and all that, whereas by virtually everybody too, it's also used to generate energy. So that makes it more expensive. It's also, of course, used to move around everywhere. So once you allow the price to go up the way it has gone up, definitely transport price will go up. And since you have to transport a product through transport, definitely you are going to have the ripple effect of that. So we have high level of electricity or power cost. We have high level of unemployment because of the fact that many due to the removal of all subsidy, the price of fuel went up because of that. Other prices went up. So many small and medium scale businesses had to go under. And they are the businesses that generate most employment level, because the large businesses, they rely more on capital than labor. But small and medium enterprises, they rely more on labor than capital, so they generate most of the employment. So when they have gone under, the level of unemployment will go under. And that simply means that a lot of people have lost their income. So when they lose income, definitely the demand for goods will fall. And when demands for goods fall, the producers will not be able to meet up. And so they have to also disengage some of their workers, compounding the issue of unemployment. So we have unemployment, we have high inflation rates continue to go on because of bad policy. We have high energy cost, which is part of the thing that make a cost of production very high, or cost of living very high. We have a poor education system, as well as a large number of our children not being in school. So many of these issues are there. And then the exchange rate has been depreciated badly. That is affecting. This is a country that depends largely on imports. And when your country depends on imports, and you are going to import even raw materials, the cost of that also add to cost of production. So it was deliberate thing for government to devalue the currency. No, it was not, the currency, the level it is presently was not because of market forces. It was because of deliberate effort by the central bank to do that, so that they believe that when they monetize the oil money, they can say that they are giving much money to the state to spend. Whereas inflation would have also eroded that kind of. So all those economic policies are not working. And they also rely largely on the policies introduced to them or advice from World Bank and IMF, who believe in market economy. There's nothing wrong with market economy, but even the capitalist people, they intervene in the economy because they know that there's what you call market failure. And market failure is rampant in our kind of economy, because of some structural rigidities. So they have to continue to intervene in that economy. So even in the advanced economy, they intervene just as we are supposed to do. We are supposed to do more in terms of intervention. So you can't leave the economy in the hand of market and say that, the market is doing wonderful work. It's not. So all those reliance on the World Bank will not work because it's not as if we don't have people here who can think of what to do, or who are not even telling them what to do. Because sometimes I read articles in the papers. I also write in the papers, but I read articles in the paper. People are advising them these are the things to do. People, even on television, you listen to people who are saying this is the way to go, but they don't listen to that. They have their own thought, which is shaped by the World Bank, IMF, this thing, which has never been good to developing countries, because they look at other countries as in the image of America. We are not in the image of America. And then the borrowing has been continuous, and some people will tell you that, America is the largest economy in the world, yet is the largest debtor in the world. But every country is owing America, because as long as you are owing dollar, you are owing America, and every country keeps its reserve in dollar. So America does not need to start looking for dollar to pay off his debt. He's the owner of dollar, can just print more dollar, but doesn't even need to print, because every country that has its reserve in dollar is indebted to America. So to that, we cannot compare ourselves, like that. We have to work for dollar to be able to get dollar or pound sterling to pay off our debt, and that is why we must be conscious of what we are doing. You have to start cutting the coat according to the size of our cloth, not according to our own size, the size of the cloth. So when the economy is bad like this, you don't start thinking big. You have to start cutting down, so that you don't go borrowing all the time. Most of the borrowing that you have now, the government this particular government has also borrowed more, almost the same thing as was borrowed by Buhari within this short time. And they are long-term borrowing, which means that they are borrowing that will be paid in 15, 20 years. That's when they start paying the money. So in another 15, 20 years, we are going nowhere. We are going to continue to pay debt. Presently, we are spending about over 70% of our revenue to pay debt. And that's what is going to happen in the next 15, 20 years. So we have to start looking at this and start thinking of how we are going to rescue the economy, so that the future will be bright for future generation. Because we have not actually built anything for the future generation. In those advanced economy, their older generation have built a lot of capital for them. They are now working on it, adding to it another. What capital have we built for future? So are we going to remain like this? No, we can't. So we have to start thinking of how to put in proper place policies that will start building capital that our children will be able to work on in future, that will generate revenue for them, and then they will be able to pay off the debt that we are amassing for now. But we are not doing that. Rather, we are wasting money, running up and down, looking for what is not there. You are looking for investment abroad. Those who are going to invest in Nigeria economy will first of all look at what is happening in the economy. How are the domestic investors treated? Are they treated well? If they are not treated well, they will then say that, what's the consumption pattern? They prefer to invest in a country with 50 million people that have high income. than 200 million people with poverty because they won't buy their products. And even if they come here, they make plenty of money. By the time they want to convert that money to dollar or pound sterling or to their own country currency, it will be a small amount of money. So they can't just come and invest in that kind of environment where they are going to generate their own power, they are going to, generate their own water, all the social amenities, the social infrastructure that they will need are not there. Actually, the kind of partners we need will be those who can assist us to exploit our resources and use it here. Not that they will exploit the resources and then transfer it abroad, like we will produce crude oil and it's then transferred abroad for, no. Like people that can work on our steel, for example, our iron and steel, and bring it into fruition, because we have been working on this iron and steel since 70s. Many countries have defrauded us. All those who have defrauded us, we are going back to them to talk to them. No, we shouldn't. We should look for more, new people that are sincere, who have that kind of a thing in their country and they are doing well. So when they for example, if we have people in iron and steel in the country, those who are ready to use those things will come here. I'll tell you a story. During the 1974-75 quadrupling of oil prices, when prices of oil went from $4 to $12, many countries really run into trouble. Who are used to free oil. So what did Americans started buying Japanese vehicles, because American vehicles go fuel anyhow. Japanese have introduced vehicles that do not go oil, so they started buying Japanese vehicle. The American cannot say we ban all these vehicles because there are people that are talking about free. So what they did was to say, okay, Japan, you don't have resources. You buy all these things from other places, all this, and then you make them. So we have iron, we have everything that you need. Come and establish in our country. So Japan had to come and establish in America. America will now stop transferring money to pay for all those things. The Japanese that come, they will have to pay tax. They have to also train Americans that will now use the raw materials who are going to take over. The Americans become knowledgeable on how to do vehicles with carburetor instead of injector, rather than carburetor that they are used to. So the training goes there. So we invite people who can not only explore our iron and steel, but can also use it here. They use it to produce things that we can then start exporting. When they come out, they make their money. We also make our own revenue through taxes from them. And so at the end of the day, we find that those are the kind of people that we need, who can assist us to explore our raw materials and turn it into finished good here. Not that they will do it and then transfer it abroad. No, you are ready to come here. Even we can invite those who are ready to create, to have their own power, to generate their own power, and we compensate them for generating their own power, because it's going to be added to whatever we have generally. And so those are the kind of people that we need. We don't need wheelers and dealers who are just here to sell their product that they have produced somewhere and then take it, take the money out of the country. We need people that will use our own resources, assist us to exploit our resources, turn those resources into value-added products that we can sell, that we can export, that we can use, in the country. Those are the kind of people that we're looking for. Of course, the advanced economy, if you look at the advanced economy, they don't have the resources that we have in Africa. And to that extent, you find that they go about looking for all those things that we have. So they compete among themselves. It's only for us to define what we want and how we want them to do it. It's not. It's as if they are doing us favor. We are not doing us favor. They come here. They need what we have, and they have the technology to make sure that they explore those things. So we are the one to dictate to them that, well, if you are coming here, these are the things that we want. So they are competing with them. China is here, Americans are there, Italians are here, French, Britain, Germans. All of them are here doing one business or the other. The Chinese are even sitting on a lot of things that they are doing that is even shrouded in secrecy. And that is because our own people allow them, because our own people are also not sincere with us. They are always thinking of what they are going to get personally rather than what belongs to the. So there must be transparency and accountability in whatever we are doing. The interest of the country should be paramount over self-interest, because mainly self-interest is more important to Nigerians rather than even in governance. So we don't need to be pursuing people who are about to come and assist us. They are ready to come and do business here. The fact is that even when they want to come and do business, this ease of doing business thing, a lot of corruption is still going on there. That is, and anybody that is caught creating a problem should just be removed, retired or whatever, and let those who want to work. So people are here competing. They are in almost African countries competing, so we are not the one to be running after them that come and invest here. They want to invest. They know, but they have to study the environment where they are going to invest. So we have many people that are competing to be here. When it comes to business, they cooperate, as it were. That's why I said it is for us to tell them what we want. They can be fighting on another plane. In fact, part of why they fight is also because of everybody want to have an economic edge over the other. China is presumed to be the world leader by 2030, taking over from the US. It has taken over from Germany, from Japan, and all of that. So, and the US is still struggling to make sure that it doesn't overtake it, but definitely they have higher level of technology, which is based on the fact that they took education seriously within the context of their revolution. So when it comes to business, they are not going to expose themselves that they are fighting for anything. They are going to cooperate in terms of when it comes to exploiting resources in this kind of economy. That is why we must have guidelines. We must have stake in it. We must make sure that part of the dealing is that we are going to train our people. We are going to use our people. Because when you come with all your people, nobody is trained there. When you go, we don't have anything. So we are going to train our people to be able to work with you. There must be limited number of foreigners that will come, and the category of foreigners that will come, so that you're going to use our people to do. Well, they will comply. They will have to reach agreement. We should give them a playing ground to so all of them will comply. When we say, okay, China, for example, Russia and America, they have problems because of the support America has for Kiev. But the fact remains that when it comes to business, it is business and nothing more. So they know how to cooperate. But one thing that I know is that many of these countries are also afraid of Africa, of Nigeria in particular. That because if you see what our people are doing in those other countries, you know that we have the resources if you are given the right environment. So basically, they are afraid that if Nigeria is able to get it right, it could be problematic for them too, because China getting it right, Japan getting it right, India is also getting it right now, has been able to increase the competition for the global businesses. And that is even when they say, oh, competition is necessary, they also try to put plug in it. So if you're able to, if you know what you are doing, we get it right. I think we should be concerned about ourselves and not about what we gain from them. So to that extent, we treat them equally, but we also open our eyes to make sure that whatever they are doing is not injurious to our own economy. I wouldn't say a particular country. What we should do is to say, okay, these countries, they specialize in what? And then we give them assignment on the basis of their own specialization. If you look at agriculture, if you look at energy, all of them, all those advanced countries, they can do it and can do it well. So that's why you have to get the history of what they have done elsewhere, and how transparent have they been, doing what they did. So you cannot say we are on the same level when it comes to agriculture. Being in the US, and I've been in the Great Plain in the US, where you see agriculture, you know that it's agriculture. The population of Americans in agriculture, they are just about 5% or less. yet they produce enough food to sell to give to the rest of the world and consume on their own. China is 1.4 billion people. They are not getting food from anywhere. They produce, they also sell. So they are also producing in excess because their revenue was based on agriculture and education. So they feed themselves and they have excess. I've been to China and I could see that food was very cheap there. So those are the things that you see. Food very cheap when it comes to food. Some other things could be expensive like utility and all those things. But when it comes to food, that's why they also live well and they enjoy well. When food is out of your problem, then you are okay. Other things will work out. But when food is part of the problem, then you find that you may not even be able to think straight. So all of them are good in agriculture. All of them are good in IG. There is nothing that you want to say that they are not good at. So it's good for them to compete. But accepting them will be based on what they have done in other places. And there are books, there are studies to show what they have done in other places. So the level of sincerity on what they have done is very important. Well, the government has been talking to them as it were, but today we are with America, tomorrow we are with China, another time we are with France. So we cannot actually pinpoint what what we are doing with each of them, as it were. But the fact remains that each of them has something to contribute. The government is not telling us this is our direction with this country and all that, so we cannot start hazard any guess on what they are doing. But like I said, many of them are doing work here. Many of them have done some work with us before, so we can rely on what they have done before to say, okay, you can continue, you may not continue. And all of them are versatile in different areas, as it were. For example, I always like German products because German products are very solid. Russian products that we also know are very solid. They may not be fine, but at least when you use them, you know that these are things that can last long. Chinese, because Chinese people also adopt some lackadaisical attitude. You will find that some of the products that China is exporting to Nigeria have low quality than what they export to some other countries, because those other countries have said these are the standard, they have to meet the standard. Even if we say we have a standard here, nobody's checking that standard. So because China has can produce bad and good things, so it becomes very difficult for one to say that we have to rely on them, fully. But when they want to be good, they are going to be good. It's for you now to make sure that they do the right thing. So like I said, all of them they can produce quality things if you want them, and they can be good if you make sure that you monitor them and that you are monitoring them. It's good for them to compete. That's the thing, because when they are competing, they want to show off, and that is good for our own country. Actually, if we look at protests, we look at insecurity, they are all tied to two things or three things. The first one is education. Those who are supposed to be in school are not in school, so they are free to roam anywhere. The second one is unemployment. People are supposed to be employed, engaged somewhere, doing some work. They are not there, so they are free. Anytime the opportunity for them to be on the street, they be on the street instead of just caging themselves at home. The third thing is that we should talk about the economic growth. The economy is not growing. Education is not growing. Food is also not growing. If people are employed, you get less people, running around say they are protesting. If everybody that's supposed to be in school is in school, you have less people. Well, the last one that we have, so many children were seen who are supposed to be in school, particularly in the north. They were seen, participating. Some of them don't even know what they are. What is but the fact that people are moving, let us move. They go about destroying things that will not be. So if we make sure that everybody, in fact, before now, in the Western region it was compulsory education. Now it should be compulsory education for everybody. If you see students that are not children that are not going to school, the parents should be fined. So we make sure that everybody goes to school. Like I said, China in its revolution in 1949 took education as a serious matter. Before that time, the literacy level was about 40%. If you Google today, China, despite rather the population is 1.4 billion, not million, no, 1.4 billion, that's about 8 times or 10 times our own, 7 times our own. The literacy level is over 95%. So when we take education serious and people we make sure that everybody is educated, people are in school, they are in school. Those who are economy is expanding, people are getting jobs to do. People will not have time. You can imagine during that crisis, somebody who is working in a bank, who is working in this thing, will have time to go and be running up on the street and say that I'm protesting. No. So that also goes for the insecurity. Those who are jobless are the ones that are being used to cause insecurity here and there. So, but if everybody is engaged or virtually engaged, definitely nobody people have sending people from the north to come and cause chaos in Lagos, this and that and all those things. It might be true, but when they get to Lagos and they start riding Okada, they start getting something to do. They forget about all those things because they are now earning money. They can buy things. They just forget about it. I always tell people that nobody is going to cause any wahala in Lagos, unless you want to cause wahala for yourself in Lagos. Because when they get to Lagos, they get something to do. Lagos economy is dynamic, so that's why people produce elsewhere. They bring it to Lagos and they sell and they go back and produce more. So we should even thank Lagos for providing that kind of environment where people can produce, and people produce in the north, they produce in the east, they produce in the southwest, they take everything to Lagos and the thing disappears there because people are buying and selling, and money is allowed to play its role of exchange. That's why sometimes when some state governments say we can't pay minimum wage, most of the states are civil service states. If you don't pay minimum wage, people don't have money to buy things. So producer will not produce where they are not, where things are not. So when they produce, they take it to nearby market where they can sell their things. So your state cannot grow. But when people are getting their salary as at when due, when they are getting the appropriate money that they can spend, the economy will grow. Economy will grow because people will be buying, so producer will be producing. And they'll be selling it within that economy, generating employment and all those things. Well, everywhere in the world, when there is insecurity, international actors come in, they play some role and all that. So there's nothing wrong with that in Nigeria. But I can also tell you that in some cases, international actors can also be part of those who are causing, who are promoting insecurity in the country. If they don't want us to grow, and we want to grow by force, they create a problem of insecurity for us. And for example, even in the north, where we have a lot of minerals, people who are exploiting minerals free of charge. They cause insecurity there, trying to move people away from where they are going to explore the next opportunity. So insecurity is not just caused by Nigerian situation; it's also caused by some foreigners. The stabilization of our economy will also create problem of development for us. And so those who don't want us to meet up will not, they will not want us to settle in any way. And of course, if Nigeria is settled, all those Nigerians that are moving out to go and work elsewhere, they will not go. So those people will not have the benefit of enjoying the service of Nigerians that are there, because Nigerians that are going, majority of them are skilled. There is not as if they are unskilled. So we have trained them, we have done everything, so they just go there. It's only small training that they require to fit into the environment. So part of the insecurity could be caused even by foreigners to make sure that the country does not settle. And so they are able to have manpower there. We are unable to develop here. And so we continue to depend on them for development. There is no basis for that. What are they? Are they coming to protect us, or they want to protect their own? If they have military bases here, it's not because of us. It's because they want to protect their facilities around Nigeria, because so that they can move from Nigeria to any other country. They can even be using this one to destabilize other African countries. So African countries should protect themselves against such things. There's no basis for that. If they want to establish, let them go establish in the Atlantic Ocean, which is a free. But for anybody to come and put up any this here, it's not necessary at all. All those policies, there are positive aspects of it, and that's what we should see the positive aspect of it. Like AGOA, for example, it has to do with textile. We are not producing anything in this country anymore, and whereas it should have been an opportunity for us to modernize our production and be able to sell some of our local production, like all this adire something, modernize it, and then you export it, because it allows for free, transfer of textile products in particular. South Africa took advantage of that and is a big beneficiary, because it's not that, it's just because we are used to importation. We are used to believing in foreign things, and that is very bad, because you now have Chinese adire, you have Chinese lace and all those things. Yes, in Nigeria, they did it there, they export, and we are now buying that one as against our own. It's part of those things that that are supposed to create problem for us. It's like the federal government. We have some motor company here that are producing all sorts of vehicles, but we prefer to go and, as federal government that is the largest importer of all these things, buy from your own people here. Let them continue to produce. When you buy from them, you make them expand. When they expand, they get more people, employed. And when people are employed, you also get your revenue from there. But when you now, that, we don't want to buy that, you start buying from abroad, you are wasting resources doing that. So anything that you can produce here, the government should be the one to encourage it. I think it was done during the time of Obasanjo, as during his first coming, when we were producing Peugeot that time, and Peugeot was the official car. So, and that made Peugeot to grow. So, all those private businesses that are producing such thing here, we should be able to go and join, to buy from them as government, state, local government, federal government, buying from them, will encourage them to expand and be able to generate more employment. The military, who else can do it? It's the military. The only thing that are they encouraged? Do they have the right maybe support even from the government itself? Support in the sense that because sometimes we vote a lot of money for the military, but we have to make sure that all those things they are supposed to have, they have it. Not that you vote money for them to buy this, to buy that. Eventually, the money is released, but nothing is purchased, because corruption is sitting deep into whether it is military, is this and that. So we have to make sure that all that they require, they get it. The required training is also given to them. You don't need to send all of them to standards to go and learn. You can bring people here to come and give them some training. That is part of the joint exercise that you were talking about before. But you also allow some of them to go out, go and learn something. When they come, they also train those who are here. Give them adequate support, and make sure that those who are supposed to be there at the top are the one at the top. Not that you bring somebody from below who don't have experience and put it on top. It will disorganize the whole thing. It will make people will not want to be. They will not be committed to the work anymore. And more importantly, anyway, you see, the retired. Yesterday we heard that the retired military men who could not get their pension. How can that happen? So those on ground will now say, those who have retired, so whatever money is allocated, let me take my own now. So eventually, corruption, part of breeding corruption. People who have retired, they have served the country, they have retired, they are not being paid. So those on ground will say, since I am not going to be paid in time, whatever, when they allocate money for equipment, part of it should be my own. We have seen that a number of top military people who are given opportunity to buy arms and ammunition, they didn't buy it; they keep it somewhere. We have heard of some of them that has happened to. So we must make sure that they get what they need to do the work. But more importantly, like I said, the country must expand in terms of employment. so that people who are jobless are the one that devil's hand. You come to a tool in devil's hand. Those who are in school, who are supposed to be in school, let them be in school. Once you're able to take care of those things, you see that this insecurity will be minimized. And those who are even coming from abroad to come and create, you are the one who will report that these are the people that are creating a problem for us. Yeah. Well, I rely mostly on virtually all of them, television for news and some discussion, analysis, and all those things. Newspaper for some write-ups. That's why I make sure that at least I have one newspaper a day. And then radio for news, basically. And sometimes they have some discussion. So all of them are useful to me. But the fact is that I rely more on television. But television is useful for me in the night when I'm at home. Other ones, in the morning is radio. During the day is newspaper. I'm not sure. They are only playing all of them are playing their role, because we tune to them and see what is going on there and all those things. So I don't think the media in Nigeria has developed to the level that you can't have such an influence. That you can't have a situation in which the influence will affect, the economy, as it were. Well, I know I do listen to Politics Today in the channel by Seun Okinbaloye, because it brings in a lot of people that will for different discussion. I also look at TVC politics. They also have a politics today. People who are brought in and discuss. But apart from that, I listen to news. I listen to football because I like football. In the newspapers, well, a number of people, I cannot be mentioning them, but I know that I do read Shola Olumense. I do read this lady on Thursday in the Punch. I read mainly those in the Punch, really. No, unless somebody mention them, I'll go and look at what they are doing. I don't have much interest in that.